What if everything we've been told about autoimmunity is wrong? I'm Elizabeth Yarnell. After awakening partially blind one morning in 1999, a doctor told me my multiple sclerosis would put me in a wheelchair within 10 years. I refused to accept that as the end of the story, so I started investigating. Welcome to the Inflammation Investigator, the podcast that uncovers the inflammation lurking underneath your ailments. Because autoimmune and chronic conditions should not be viewed as death knells when they are actually alarm bells. I'm a traditional naturopath and founder of the Inflammation Academy. And in 2 episodes every week, we dig into what conventional medicine might be missing. If you're living with chronic or unexplained symptoms, this investigation is for you. Your body has been trying to tell you something. Let's start listening.
In the last episode, we started talking about how symptoms are clues to inflammation and how inflammation is caused by external triggers. Yes, I said external triggers, not internal triggers. Today, we're going to look more at that, and I'm going to share with you what I call the Limoncello Incident. Just a reminder, I will be reading from my computer as we go through this. The Limoncello Incident. When I first started looking for triggers to my symptoms, as an adult not used to reading labels or teasing out ingredients, sussing out exactly what could be my triggers required years of learning and also honing new detective skills. I did a lot of trial and error in the early days as I was figuring out how to reduce the variables in the inflammation equation. Several years ago, while visiting my sister at her home in California, she and I carefully planned and prepared a meal that would be safe for me to eat. It included roast chicken, potatoes, broccoli, and carrots. Everything was delicious, and I felt both well-fed and uninflamed. After dinner, my brother-in-law brought out a bottle of limoncello for a postprandial toast. Limoncello! I was so excited! I remembered seeing large jars of lemons marinating in vodka on the counters of bars in Italy, and I knew I could safely tolerate the ingredients: vodka, lemon, and cane sugar. I accepted 2 shots of the lemony nectar and then slept soundly all night. My sister burst into her guest room at 10 o'clock the next morning, waking me from a deep sleep. Since I normally wake between 7 and 8, this should have been my first clue that something was wrong. I noticed that I was disoriented and a little shaky, but dismissed it as a hangover. She suggested a power walk, and I decided to push through. We started out along a dirt path shaded by leafy trees. At the midpoint of the walk, the route changed from an unpaved lane to concrete city sidewalks. My sister was moving quickly. I was not. I was too busy watching the sidewalk for sloping curbs into driveways, uneven concrete slabs hiding emerging tree roots, and random holes threatening mid-step landmines. "What's wrong with the way you're walking?" I remember her asking. I also remember having no idea what she was talking about. But then she said something like, "It sounds as if your feet are slapping on the pavement." And then it hit me. Drop foot. And as I said the words out loud to her, I realized a few things all at once. First, that I'd been looking down at the ground and was hyper-focused on not tripping over cracks in the sidewalk because I felt unsteady on my feet. Second, that drop foot was an MS symptom, and I said so out loud. "Oh no," I wailed glumly. "It's drop foot." And third, I realized I hadn't picked up on the sound of my feet slapping the ground as a clue. I'd also missed other clues, such as sleeping too late and feeling groggy. Whilst in the midst of experiencing a flare of inflammation, it can be difficult or even impossible to recognize a symptom as a clue. Not only is brain fog part of the package when it comes to inflammation, but it takes some practice to recognize a symptom as a clue. Drop foot is an MS symptom I knew of, but had never personally experienced before. On the way home from our walk, my feet felt strangely loose and floppy, and I focused almost all my attention on setting each foot down safely. Back at the house, my sister helped me to do the detective work by reviewing every single thing I had eaten the night before. I knew chicken to be safe for me, check. Potatoes, check. Broccoli, check. Carrots, check. Nothing suspicious there. Then my sister brought out the bottle of limoncello, and there it was, right on the label. In the ingredients list, yellow food dye. I already knew that yellow food dye was a problem for me because it had turned up on the MRT food sensitivity test. At the time, it had never occurred to me that food coloring would be added to an alcoholic drink. Since then, I've found food dyes and other additives in many beverages, both alcoholic and not, and including wines, spirits, and liqueurs. Ever since the Limoncello incident, I never failed to read the labels on all bottles before drinking. Of the limoncello ingredients, it was neither the lemon nor the sugar nor even the alcohol content, which many are usually quick to blame, but rather the yellow food dye that was causing the drop foot. Detective work success! I added this brand of limoncello to my unsafe list, along with a commitment to reading the labels and learning the ingredients of any alcoholic beverages going forward. In the immediate moment, however, understanding what was happening allowed me to select the right remedy to speed my recovery, and I was walking normally again within a couple days. Learning which remedies to take when also takes some awareness, experience, and knowledge, and is something we'll talk more about in later episodes. Until then.
And that's another case filed on the Inflammation Investigator. Remember, every symptom is your body's way of communicating. We just need to learn the language. If today's episode sparked something for you, I want to hear about it. Share your own investigation discoveries with me on social media at Elizabeth Yarnell, or find me at elizabethyarnell.com. Your experience could be exactly what another listener needs to hear. And make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an episode. And here's the thing about investigations. They work best when you're not going it alone. If this podcast is helping you uncover the answers you've been searching for, please like, rate, subscribe, and review, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. As a new podcast, these actions mean more than you know. Want to dive deeper into your own inflammation investigation? Head over to inflammationinvestigator.com, where you can take my free inflammation quiz to uncover which hidden triggers might be affecting your health. Until next time, This is Elizabeth Yarnell, your inflammation investigator, reminding you that the solutions to your health issues are out there. Let's find them together.